Sandeep. Hi. Thank you so much for being on the Clarity series. I'm so excited for our conversation.
Me too. Yes, I'm sure I'm sure it's gonna come out, how excited we are. So I'm really excited.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's get started. So, my first question to you would be gamification in B2B marketing sounds like a gimmick to most people. What does it actually look like, when it works, and why are so few companies doing it right now?
Yeah, so the reason I kind of got into gamification is I came from the casino industry, which is it's truly gaming, and they use a lot of loyalty programs that are based off of frequent flyer miles, and those loyalty programs are a type of gamification. However, they were being used in a very transactional format. So I got into the studying of like how do you actually create engagement, right? Because that's what the business of casinos do is create that engagement of like you are excited by the titles, you have an experience, and the loyalty programs just felt very do this and get this type of rewards, and that's not what loyalty is. So it really got me interested in what gamification is, how it was being used in other places. And so I do feel that it has a bad rep just because, I'm not saying we should turn everything into a game. Games have their specific interests, their specific place, right? Sometimes you want to be serious, but that doesn't mean that when you're selling a service, you don't have engagement. And, that's where I really enjoyed the actual study of gamification, where it was the science of how people interact with a environment. So, instead of thinking like, tic-tac-toe, think of, Dungeons& and Dragons, where it's an entire world or a universe that's been created and how people interact with those areas of the product. And so, eh I think it can be gimmicky, and if it's gimmicky, it's not gonna work. But if you
Yeah.
look at the engagement areas of it, the personas, the different layers of gamification, then, it's not gimmicky, and it can work to really subtly and, inject different areas of engagement, even in, like, a product sheet, right? Something, getting the reader to really interact with your content better, and that's why I really enjoy talking about gamification.
Wow. That's such a different take from everyone there in the industry. Yeah. Yeah. So you worked across, gaming like we were talking about, aerospace, fintech, hospitality, industries that have nothing in common. What does that teach you, about buyers that someone who's only worked in SaaS would never figure out?
Okay, so let's take that in like two separate questions almost.
Okay.
So while they seem completely different, they are all service-based industries. They are all highly regulated industries. And I would argue that in any service, even like software as a service, there is some type of regulation, um, something that's specific to that. But software, I think, yeah, I don't know that they would never figure it out. I feel like that's kind of maybe a little bit, um, maybe aggressive. I don't know. I think where a lot of companies miss the mark is they miss the service aspect. Like product marketing should be included in the onboarding and the experience that your clients have, if for no other reason that one, your product is a service, right? And two, um, I guess there's multiple reasons I could probably say, but your best customers, your best clients are your best clients, right? You think of like Pareto's rule 80/20. You're when you go with a new product or a new launch, you're probably going to target the clients you already have. So understanding their current experience within your service is really important. So I think that part gets missed. Some companies do it well, but I do think the service aspect, um, in SaaS, is is sometimes where people miss that about their buyers. Yeah.
Nice. Lovely take. So yeah, you said that neurodivergence is a superpower. Like in a world of, rigid GTM playbooks and linear funnels, how does thinking differently actually change the output, according to you?
Yeah. I don't know that I said that. It sounds like something I would say. I am not a doctor, so I don't know. I think any type of diversity of ideas or diversity of experience and background help you look at different things and be able to be successful, right? So going back to the last question of like, oh, these things are all really different. Yeah, they're very different industries. They're very different how they operate, but like at the end of the day, it's a service, it's a market, being able to understand research. So the foundational things and how I look at those, right? Even through like a gamification lens, or some people look through a data lens, I
Mm,
think that helps just bring new ideas and creativity. Um, I kinda wanna ask you, right, like, have you seen that with the SaaS, or even in your experience where, your diversity of, like, your background has really
yeah.
helped you?
So I do not come entirely from a PMM background. I come from an account management background and then sales and then PMM. So of course it helps you, like even you're so diverse in so many fields. Similarly with me, like, I know that what my clients need, what's there on the sales front. So I think in the end, everything just helps you in your career to move, wherever you want to go.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I totally
totally.
agree.
Mhm. So you've brought gamification frameworks to PMM Jam and built real engagement from it. Most B2B companies think that engagement means getting likes on LinkedIn and all of that. So what are they actually missing according to you?
Oh my gosh. So one right there,
Yeah.
engagement is I mean, we used to call it, like, evangelism, I think,
Mm,
like, when the person, whether they're your client or not, is preaching your name, they are excited, they're using your product, right? And I think that, um unfortunately, I've seen this a lot as companies, get bigger, different areas get siloed and they have this incentive, right? And so this works for your clients too, and this is why I really enjoy gamification. When you give somebody an incentive, they will take it, right? So if your marketing KPIs is how many likes on LinkedIn, like, you are gonna measure against that. That does not tie back to revenue, right? How many of those likes were converted, right? How many entered the sales funnel? How many, like, made it through however many touch points to being dollars in the bank account at your business? And so what I've seen is that, hey, there's maybe an integrated marketing team and a product marketing team and a sales team and even the product team, right? And they all have different KPIs of engagement, whether that's likes, views, downloads, right? Or even just logins. So that and those aren't usually tracked along the same client, which is really hard, and so it almost looks like, "Oh, well, integrated marketing's winning, right? Sales is everybody's winning," but then when you get to the revenue, it's like you can't, like, double count the same client. Um, so, I think that's one aspect of it is, like, making sure you have the right KPIs, but the other like, action are are your KPIs, is someone actually using what you're doing, right? So if you're in product marketing and you're making product sheets and decks, if nobody used it, you're just spinning your wheels, you're doing busy work, right? So did the sales team use it, right?
yeah.
Understanding that. Did they retain it? So, one of the things I will say, like with product sheets, and I like using there's a concept in gamification where you look at personas, right? So when I guess let me go back a little bit. Like, I like gamification because there's the personas, right? You have like who the players are, and there's the actual environment that they're acting on and they're interacting on. And so if we just take that for a second, right? Um, we know that beyond just naming personas, um, that people engage very differently, right? They learn very differently. You may like to read or talk and learn through this format, right? Like this is a great
Yeah.
format to learn,
Yes,
know,
totally.
right? Demonstration. But some people like to read, some people like to touch, some people like to see things in bullet points, right? In list
Yeah.
format. Um, but even when we think of the Bartles, personas, right? So there's 4 kind of main personas. There is the killer. They are the one that wants to, like, win. They are there to win for, like they want to be dominant. So that persona needs an environment to act upon, and they need other people. They're essentially social in nature. So then you have kind of the opposite spectrum of that social. They are, they want to interact, right? So they get their engagement by, like, they are only playing a game for other people. Like, they literally
Mm.
don't care about the game. They are there because their friend's there. They wanna
Yeah.
chat, they wanna socialize, they wanna do all the things, right? And so as we move over in on the other side of that, you have people that are explorers, right? They are in there in the game for the environment. They're looking for Easter eggs. They're looking, for the big picture, right? And then on the other side, you have achievers, right? They don't care if there's any other people. They don't need to socialize. They want to, I call it like the checkbox people, like the to-do list person, that likes to they want to win the game, but they also want to collect every single badge or achievement that you put in front of them. They want to do it. They want to win the game well, which is a little bit different. So when you think of that and you think of yourself, right? Like at work, I'm an achiever. I am the check the box person. Um, but like if I go to a party, I might be the socializer, right? So the
Mm.
environment matters. And so when you think of, like a sales team, and you're doing a sales presentation, how do you engage all of those people, like those different types of
Yeah.
personnel, as well as like the different type of tactiles? Could you put an Easter egg in your deck, right? And you say like, hey, at the beginning of your deck, I hid these Easter eggs, right? Like whoever gets the most, wins a prize. And so you've now engaged everybody to pay attention while you're in the deck. And then after you can say like, okay, well, who did this? So it doesn't have to be these, giant aha moments, right? Like, or these giant, like turn everything into a game. It can be little like, "Hey, were you paying attention? How many question marks were in the deck?" Right? Or how many, little rocket ships did I hide for my launch? And it could be related to your deck. Um, so for PMM Jam, that was kind of the format and the approach I took. It was a lot of little elements that allowed people to engage on their terms. So I introduced the personas at the beginning when you registered for PMM Jam. You kind of picked like, are you an experimenter, right? That's a little bit of your explorer person, right? Are you the disruptor? That might be the killer personality. And so I kind of adapted a little bit of that. And it's intended to be an icebreaker to give people space. Um, the other thing is not everyone's a socializer. Not everybody wants to be on camera doing sessions. And so having the videos recorded and available later on let people engage on their own terms. And so it was very subtle things like that. But they start to add up and accumulate and create an actual engagement experience so that people can participate. And so PMM Jam was a um, want to call it like a challenge hackathon style event where product marketers were able to produce like a project, a product marketing portfolio style project. And um, it was really exciting because some people submitted those projects to be reviewed by the mentors, but then there were a lot of people that did the projects and didn't submit them, right? And so that was a space for them as well, to do that, to view other people's and just kind of do a project, learn more about product marketing, um, in a way that they felt comfortable doing it. So I think what that engagement looked like was just making the space so that so it was accessible, um, people to participate. I talked a lot. Oh my gosh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fun. Actually, it was sounding so interesting when you were talking about it. Finally, I got to know, like, what PM Jam is all about. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for sharing that. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
It was a beta experiment and
Okay.
probably some context for, like, anybody watching that didn't, do it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it
That's
was
what, like, it's a good picture that you weaved that, this was happening, that was happening.
yeah,
Really nice.
it
Yeah.
was very cool. I have all the content up, so you can see, like, the projects that were
For
submitted.
sure, for sure.
Uh,
Yes.
Yeah, and, it was a great experience. I'm really excited that it went so well and I got such great reception. I definitely wanna do it again and
Please do. I'm excited now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and, finding more ways for I think what I didn't expect was that there is so much diversity in product marketing. And so when you think of like learning and doing more um like kind of upskilling, right? You know, it's very hard. Some people don't do training well, right? So there
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of options for that hands-on experience and getting feedback, and seeing, different opinions. So we had someone that was an ex-lawyer come in, we had, like, a philosopher, we had some of the people that have been, on this Clarity series as well. So
Yeah.
it was a really great, experience that we're gonna, like, refine and kind of produce again and see what happens. Yeah.
Wow. Super excited for that as well. Yeah. So let's move to the next segment of this conversation. It's
Oh,
called
wow.
hot take and hard truth. Yeah. So I'm gonna put forth a few statements against you, and you gotta tell me if it's a hot take. Like, would most people push back on it, or is it a hard truth? Something that most people don't say out aloud.
Yes, I think I'm ready.
Cool. Okay, awesome. So the first one is most B2B marketing is designed to inform buyers. Almost none of it is designed to make them feel anything. Hot take or hard truth?
I feel like that's a hot take. Um, because I've seen really great, I've seen more of a shift now, in, in that. I think that previously B2B marketing was a lot of educational, and even that has an emotion tied to it of like, you know, uh, succeeding in your career, right? Being, ambitious, right? Those tied before. I think there's a shift to more human and element, and as AI becomes more prevalent, I think that storytelling is gonna be the difference because everything's gonna look like Claude or ChatGPT, right? And so without those stories, I mean, I see it happening. I see companies getting better at it. Like, some of the biggest B2B companies have Super Bowl ads for the past few years, and they're more like, heartstring tugging or, fun hot takes of their own, right, or comedy. And so I think those are better stories. So I I think it's a hard truth that you have to have it.
Nice. So the other one is that journey mapping is the most underrated PMM skill and the most skipped one. Hot take or hard truth?
Oh my god. I I wanna be proven wrong. I feel like this is a hard truth. I I love journey maps. I think that's the first place you should start. I think it's a visualization of your positioning, your ICP, it is the literal map of like, "Hey, where am I gonna chart my journey?" Right? Like, uh, understanding your client, understanding all of the stakeholders, and how to navigate that through emotion, right? Um, I think it's a hard truth. I wanna see it more. I really wanna see it more. I don't see it enough. I really wanna be proven wrong, though. Uh, I want start sending me journey maps and say like, "No, I do this all the time." I
Nice. And the last one is that the best GTM systems aren't built by the smartest people in the room. They're built by the ones who can see the chaos everyone else is ignoring. Hot take or hard truth?
That's that is hard. I think that I'm gonna lean towards hot take. Um, I struggle with the idea of like I love systems, I love processes, but each go to market should be unique, right? It should
Yeah.
be very specific to that journey map, right? Like who's your clients? What's your market? They're not all gonna be the same thing. And I think there's a lot of conflating like go to market engine, and then you end up with like a list of deliverables. Like I'm gonna do a product sheet, a deck, a campaign, like and that's just a checklist of things. It's not a strategic go to market. So I do think that in some industries that makes sense that system, if a system underlying system is good, that is great. But I don't know that that works for everyone, and I think that's a little bit of product marketing superpower is being able to see chaos, right? And navigate it and being able to pivot and switch through things. So I think product marketers are navigators, right? They have to navigate that chaos. So I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't commit to an answer on that one.
Cool. Let's take 60% of hot take. Not a lot.
Hot
Cool.
hard truth take. I don't know.
Awesome. Cool. So I loved this conversation. I loved how you were so upfront about your passion about gamification, journey mapping, and all of those things. It's
Yeah.
very hard to see in this today's landscape, but amazing. Really liked it.
Thank you. Can you is that something you can see yourself doing? Like, is it, uh
Yeah,
yeah,
like
with
I
your
would definitely like to learn about it because I haven't like deliberately gone and learned all of these things, but if given a chance, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be, like, "Hey, I need to learn everything about gamification," right? Just, like, when you look at your content,
Mm,
have so your product sheet, right? Um do you have something for that killer? Right? So what does that
yeah.
look like? That is your like your killer, and like how do they win by using your product, right? That's kind of your CTA, at the
Mm,
end of your product sheet. So when you think of like the achiever, do you have features and benefits? Like maybe
mm,
list those out in bullets, right? And for the socializer, your social proof, um, and it's just like one page, right? Do you have a
yeah.
story? And so those are like 4 really easy things you can go do right now. Like, "Hey, look at my product sheet. Do I have a story? Do I have a reason to
Nice.
win if you purchase this product? Do I have like a very simple like, hey, how to go through the process, right? Like, how do I buy your product, right, on your
Mm,
sheet?" They they're not I think just starting there is
yeah.
like and you're winning, you're doing it, and you're creating engagement.
Awesome. I'll definitely give it a try. I think the way you explained, I think someone the way you explain that really matters. Who is teaching you the right way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't make everything a game, just make it more
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out, Eve. This was so amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. your time. I know it takes so much effort to produce this, and I look
Mm.
forward to seeing what it looks like.
Awesome, awesome.